There are moments in life that feel quiet on the outside, but are thunderous within. One of those moments is when you decide to let someone go, not in anger, not as an act of revenge, but with clarity, calm and knowing. When you let someone go, you're not just walking away from a relationship. You're releasing a version of yourself that was trying so hard to be enough for someone who could never meet you where you are. This kind of letting go is not passive. It's not giving up. It's a deeply conscious choice, a spiritual act of bravery. You stop clinging. You stop begging. You stop bending yourself into pieces just to be accepted. And instead, you come back to yourself. Letting go often begins in silence. It's not loud or dramatic. It doesn't look like a big moment. But something inside you shifts, the weight you were carrying, trying to be seen, understood, loved. It gets too heavy. You realize you've been trying to earn something that should be given freely. And so you say, quietly, enough. Not with rage, not with resentment, but with truth. This is when the soul begins to realign. This is when you stop being who you had to be for someone else and begin becoming who you were always meant to be. But make no mistake, letting go isn't just about the other person. It's about the reflection you see in their absence. Because the truth is, you didn't just love them. You needed them to help you get the parts of yourself you didn't want to feel. When you let go, you're not just grieving someone else. You're grieving the parts of you that were hidden under the attachment. That's why it hurts so much. The memories come up. The old wounds reopen. Feelings you thought you buried rise like smoke. And suddenly it feels like you're going backward. But you're not. You're going inward. You are not falling apart. You are coming home. This isn't about blaming the other person. It's about finally turning toward yourself. The parts you quieted. The needs you suppressed. The truths you hid to keep the peace. Now, there's no one left to appease. And the soul seizes the moment to speak. I'm tired of pretending. I deserve to be loved without earning it. I am enough, even in my sadness, even in my anger. But this is sacred work, not glamorous, but necessary. Because every part of you that rises in the silence, they're not here to destroy you. They're here to be reclaimed, to be brought back into the light. One of the most profound shifts that happens when you let go is the collapse of projections. You stop seeing the other person as your savior, your mirror, your villain. You begin to see them not as the one who defines your worth, but simply as another human being, carrying their own fears and flaws. And with that, the pedestal crumbles. And so does the illusion. You realize that love isn't about performing, it's about presence. And presence cannot be forced. The person who once held so much power over your emotions begins to fade. And in that space, your own reflection becomes clearer. You see yourself again, not as someone trying to earn love, but as someone who already is love. There is grief in this process, yes, but it's not the kind that chains you. It's the kind that frees you. You stop waiting. You stop reaching. You stop asking for someone else to define your value. And instead, you turn inward. And you find that your worth was never lost. It was just buried under your longing. Letting go, then, is a return to spiritual sovereignty. It's the moment you stop outsourcing your wholeness. The moment you realize, I was never incomplete. I just believed I was. You begin to feel things differently. You set boundaries without guilt. You speak with a voice that no longer shakes. You occupy your life fully, without apology. And that right there, that's power. Not the kind that dominates, the kind that roots, that anchors, that says, this is who I am. And that's enough. As the noise fades, you begin to hear something else, the voice that was always yours, the voice of your inner self. It says, welcome back. This is the awakening. It's not dramatic. It's not performative. It's subtle, but steady. And once it begins, you never unhear it again. From this place, you stop chasing relationships that require you to disappear. You stop compromising your depth for the sake of someone else's comfort. You stop mistaking intensity for intimacy. And most importantly, you stop abandoning yourself. What follows is peace. A peace that doesn't depend on someone else's approval or affection. A peace that stays even when others go. A peace that is not the absence of pain, but the presence of you. You become grounded, not in certainty, but in trust. Trust that life doesn't need your control. Trust that what is meant for you will stay. Trust that your soul knows the way home. And as you reclaim yourself, something even deeper begins to unfold. You remember your dreams. You remember your voice. You remember that your joy matters, not just theirs. You start writing your own story again. Not the version shaped by someone else's gaze, but the version that only you can tell. The version where you are not a supporting character in someone else's narrative, but the author of your own. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't love. It means you loved enough to set both of you free. Free from illusions. Free from control. Free to grow. So what truly happens when you let someone go? You don't lose. You return break. You remember. You don't empty. You become available. Available to your soul, to your purpose, to relationships that don't ask you to shrink. Letting go, when done consciously, is not an ending. It's a beginning, and the one being born is you.